Good afternoon. Zen with a smile. Phase 2 continues. I've mentioned more than once, as I'm prone to do, that the mind doesn't have to be an enemy. It doesn't have to be something that you quiet, still, and silence. I firmly suggest that instead we should look at the brain as an ally and learn how to use it, how to build this alliance of trust. After all, we're given this fine tool to utilize in a constructive, creative way. And many times I felt that it was my only tool in my arsenal, the only tool that was available to me to utilize on my inquiry, my search, my journey to nowhere. But it seems that I've been neglecting or overlooking, failing to mention other tools that are not only available to me, but I might be so bold to suggest that it's available to all of us. They're available to all of us. And I wanted to start, there's a kind of a natural hierarchy. I'm anti-hierarchy essentially, but it doesn't preclude me from noticing that we establish hierarchies almost by second nature. Not only hierarchies, but elements. If we put more than two people together, elements of division, schisms, separation seem to develop quickly. And in my mind, this occurs essentially because we're all at one point or another trying to sustain and maintain our ego. Not only maintain it, but feed it with power. Feed it with our very sense of our correctness. After all, who doesn't want to be correct, especially in all the things that they hold dear? But in this arena, I have to add that belief. If you feel belief blossoming, stop giving it sustenance. Stop giving it water and fertilizer. It's a tough weed, and it's a weed that can survive. As I've read recently, logic and facts mean absolutely zero, mean nothing to believers. So attacking belief or believers with logic and facts will get you absolutely nowhere, because the nature of belief is its ability to be sustained in spite of the light, any light, facts or logic might bring to bear. Totally ignored. Worthless pursuit. And I don't venture to go and suggest how we can sway believers. It's actually not in my realm of responsibility. What is in my realm of responsibility is to choke by not offering sustenance to sustain any beliefs that I might feel coming up through the cracks, just as weeds do on a broken sidewalk. I try to pull them correctly, pull them and include the roots, or the roots will only continue to grow and plague me. So this is in my realm of responsibility. I'm assigned the responsibility to myself to be on a constant vigilance from insidious beliefs. Even going so far as to eliminating the process that allows belief to flourish, to propagate. So pull it from the roots with consistent, diligent effort. This is what I can do. Not only can I do, I mandate myself that I must do it. This is a must do. Stamp out any inklings of personal belief. And I think that begins with learning not to utilize the word believe. And it's so insidious that it's still a work in progress, I admit. It's still a work in progress to eliminate I believe. And in the same vein, hoping is pretty much of a useless pursuit. And I find it harder to eliminate hope, to eliminate the word hope, first of all, and the concept of hope, because it seems to be one of the condolences available to offer those around us in times of hardship. But hope, just as belief, personally, I've chosen to eliminate both of these. in lieu of beliefs, I find myself being open to possibilities, entertaining others' vision of what's true for them. In lieu of hope, love seems to be a much more meaningful substitute. So wherever I use hope, I replace it with love. And wherever I would use believe, I might qualify it with as I understand it, which understanding is available to scrutiny by logic and facts, making it an infinite better choice than belief. It's so easy. I believe becomes belief almost without a second thought. So if I hear I believe, I would hopefully substitute as I understand it, which implies an understanding in the present moment. And understanding is subject to change. That's what scrutiny is all about. So we mentioned the hierarchy, and I went off tangent, but what I said I felt needed to be said and shared. So I have the top of my hierarchy is what I've always called my silent witness. And it's all encompassing. It's always enveloped and protected. The aura of the silent witness is many times larger than my personal aura. And as I understand, if you put your arms straight out, our aura would encompass twice that amount of space. But generally, my personal realm starts at arm length. Anything or anyone who comes within this era, within this space, without an invitation is suspect, and my guard is up. My aura of protection becomes intense. So, needless to say, it takes a lot of energy for my aura to protect me. And it's senseless pain. It's needless activity. As long as everyone respects and honors my boundaries, I think I have a little bit of a magnetic charge. So that at least it's a warning. This is not meant to do damage. It's meant to get your attention. And I do believe, and I had been told. I caught myself believe. to my understanding. See, it's a sneaky thing. To my understanding, what I've been told and led to understand is that people are aware. They know something got their attention. Whether or not it repels them remains to be seen. So in my hierarchy, I have the silent witness. And by definition, it never speaks to me. It's the epitome of listening. It's always available to listen to you without reflection of advice or guidance. It's just something that's there that I question no more than the sun or the mountains. And next in this hierarchy are my guardians, my guardian spirits, who I've mentioned ad nauseum perhaps, but bears repeating. A Franciscan monk, 13th century Franciscan monk named Roger Bacon. This is the incarnation that I see him in, that I experience him in, with his hood, his face within the shadows, huge man floating off the ground. And my court gesture, my continually somersaulting court gesture, dressed in the garb that my imagination leads me to medieval time court gesture. And Roger Bacon is silent, just as my silent witness is. And Dhammo, Bodhidharma, as I've learned, is the spirit that is incarnated in this guise of my court gesture. He never shuts up. And you have to really listen carefully to separate the wheat from the chaff, the feather from the fluff. But when I've really devoted full attention to him, what seems to be at first blush nonsense, gibberish, is all equally profound. And perhaps I only hear what I'm available to hear, what I need to hear at that moment. And they are by my side constantly. And I always put this caveat. They've mentioned to me many, many times that they're not exclusive to me, that they're able to be many places for many people at the same time, without diminishing, without subtracting the wholeness that I experience them with me. And whereas my silent witness doesn't protect me, or doesn't appear to protect me, my guardians, as the name reflects, carry the burden, if they feel it's a burden, of protecting me as they point the way. And right under this hierarchy is my heart. And I never ignore any message from the heart. I rest assured in the honesty, the clarity, the silence that the heart offers. So decisions from the heart have priority over the next in my hierarchy of available tools. Tools of inquiry. Tools to assist in our journey towards remembering completeness and wholeness. Refusing to accept division or separation. Embracing all our fellow creatures, sentient or not, as part of what we share in common. So the mind is next. And the mind, remember I mentioned just as recently as yesterday that the mind's sole job, responsibility in my inquiry is elimination of what's not so. And it has additional tasks. It's the storehouse for information, wisdom. It's where the process of information, conversation, information becomes knowledge. And then it's sent to my heart where it becomes wisdom. So the brain's highest attainment with information is to put it together in form of knowledge and to start storing this knowledge. Systematic storage, because it also has the job of accessing this stored information. And here is where it becomes really fun. Because as we share, we understand, the mind creates the ego. It's based on accumulations of experiences. The sensory input that we've received as this ego seems to harden as we age. Now, I suggest that the mind can be utilized to expose the ego as something that doesn't work. So in this way, you see that the mind can expose itself when it's being less than helpful, when it's attempting to build a structure that tells you what's so completely beyond the realm, its own realm. And not only does it expose the ego, if you've cultivated a constructive relationship with your mind, it relishes it. It actually seems to enjoy. And it needs constant recognition. You have to tell it like a dog, good boy, as it comes to you and you give it a bone. You encourage it to continue its fine work in the realms of what's not so. So it becomes your friend instead of your enemy. And below this, after the mind, I'm going to touch on a couple things that might seem counterproductive, might not fit in a neat little package, conception of a tool that's helpful on the path of inquiry. I better change that, paths, because as many of us there's that many paths. So, paths of inquiry. And the first big one, the strongest one, my first reaction to anything is doubt. No matter the source, external source I'm talking about here, I never doubt my heart. As long as my mind is within its boundaries of acceptability, of its usefulness, I don't doubt anything in my mind. But everything else, I doubt. Every word I hear, every word I read. It's a cautionary doubt. It's not coming from any kind of superiority or judgment. It's a caution. And from doubt, which is my most consistent personal reaction to anything from the outside, I put it in the realm of confusion. And confusion is a very, very useful tool. I put it on my desk. I have doubt. I take the doubt, I put it into the confusion box and let it sit. I feel no pressure to try to escape the state of confusion, which is a result of doubting. In this state of confusion, I'm calm, patient. And I notice now that probably my inability to really recognize what clarity was is because of this confusion, being in a constant state of confusion. And I don't find this alarming. In fact, I find it reassuring because it's a condition of what I am. And no effort to figuring it out. Patience, the art of waiting. Confusion has allowed me to perfect the art of waiting. Without this, no patience. I would be in a constant state of alarm that I'm confused. And we all strive to look for certainties instead of confusions. And when I understood the nature of certainty, I relaxed into being confused. And I have to put a caveat here. This is not an overwhelming, dysfunctional confusion. It's more like a mild buzz. It does not cause discomfort. It does not cry out for resolution. It remains in the confusion box until it's resolved. And what resolves is more information, more time, the art of inquiry. But there's an endless supply of sources of confusion for me personally as we receive the energies from without. So I've actually changed these two things. Doubt and confusion have become efficient, effective tools. And I really believe that it's from these two that springs my all-encompassing state of constant equanimity. It's as if all those things can't get me. In fact, I've turned them on their head and they become a source of, or a tool on the trail, on the journey of inquiry.